It was December 9th, 2025 at 2:47 a.m. when I woke gasping for air in my darkened bedroom, and Jesus stood at the foot of my bed with tears streaming down his face that if you see this before December ends, heaven is trying to reach you. And what he showed me about December changed everything I thought I knew about divine timing, spiritual seasons, and the urgency of this exact moment in history. Not everyone who sees this message is meant to see it. Some will scroll past, some will ignore it. But you've been marked. You've been chosen to receive this word right now, in this hour, before this month ends. I need you to do something for me right now. Before you go any further, I need you to type your prayer request in the comments below. Don't overthink it. Don't edit it. Just pour your heart out. Type, Jesus, I need, and finish that sentence with your deepest need. Because what I'm about to share with you, what Jesus revealed to me over 3 consecutive nights, starting on December 9th, is directly connected to your prayer request. It's connected to why you're watching this video right now. It's connected to why December isn't over yet. And if you're a true believer, if you're someone who doesn't just want entertainment but wants truth, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel isn't for the lukewarm. It's not for people who want their ears tickled. It's for the remnant. It's for those who are hungry for genuine encounter with the living God. Some of you know me as Jonathan Roumie, the actor who portrays Jesus in The Chosen. But what you're about to hear has nothing to do with acting. This isn't a script. This isn't a performance. What I'm about to share with you happened to me, the real me, the broken me, the desperate me, in the early morning hours of December 9th, 2025. And Jesus made it very clear, this message must go out before December ends. There's something about December, something about the end of this year, something about the threshold we're crossing that most people don't understand. Let me take you back to that night. I had gone to bed around 11:30 p.m., exhausted from a long day of filming. My body was tired, but my spirit was restless. You know that feeling when you can't quite settle? When there's this low-grade anxiety humming beneath the surface of everything? That was me. I'd been feeling it for weeks, actually. This sense that something was coming. Something was shifting in the spiritual atmosphere. I fell into a fitful sleep, tossing and turning, caught in that strange place between consciousness and dreams. And then, at exactly 2:47 a.m., I know the exact time because I looked at my phone later, compelled to document everything. I jolted awake, but I wasn't alone. The room was dark, but there was a light. Not the kind of light that hurts your eyes. This was different. It was warm, golden, alive somehow. It pulsed with an energy I'd never experienced. And standing at the foot of my bed, as real as any person I've ever encountered, was Jesus. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Jonathan's been playing Jesus so long, he's having dreams about him. But listen to me carefully. This was not a dream. I was fully awake. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I could feel the cotton sheets bunched in my fists. I could smell the faint scent of the lavender candle my wife had burned earlier that evening. Every sense was heightened, alive, crackling with awareness. And he was weeping. I've portrayed Jesus weeping in The Chosen. I've studied how Jesus wept over Lazarus, how he wept over Jerusalem. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for seeing the Son of God stand before me, with tears coursing down his face, his shoulders shaking with the weight of what he was carrying. Jonathan, he said, and his voice was like thunder and whisper at the same time, like every beautiful sound you've ever heard compressed into your name. Do you know what month this is? I couldn't speak. My mouth had gone completely dry. I managed to nod. December, he continued, and a fresh wave of tears spilled down his cheeks. The last month. The ending month. The month when my church celebrates my birth, but they've forgotten what my birth meant. They've forgotten the urgency of my coming. Jonathan, I came into the world as a baby in the final hour. I came when the world thought it was too late. I came in December. He moved closer to my bed, and I could see his face more clearly now, the face I'd tried so hard to honor in my portrayal. But this was beyond any artistic interpretation. This was the face of divine love merged with divine grief. I'm going to show you something, Jesus said, his voice breaking. I'm going to show you why people are seeing this message before December ends. I'm going to show you what hangs in the balance in these final weeks of 2025. Before I could respond, the room dissolved. I know that sounds impossible, but I'm telling you exactly what happened. The walls of my bedroom simply melted away, and suddenly I was standing, or floating, I couldn't tell which, in a vast space that seemed to exist outside of normal reality. It was like being inside a living photograph of the cosmos, except everything was moving, breathing, pulsing with divine intention. Jesus stood beside me now, his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Look." And I saw Earth, our beautiful broken Earth spinning in the darkness. But as I watched, I began to see something else. I began to see threads, golden threads like fine strands of light connecting heaven to earth, millions upon millions of them. And they were all pulsing, all active, all transmitting something. "These are my attempts," Jesus said quietly. "Every single thread is an attempt I'm making to reach someone, a prompting, a whisper, a divine appointment, a video they scroll past, a sermon they hear, a Bible verse they glance at, a sunset that moves their heart, a child's question that penetrates their defenses. Every moment, every day, I am reaching for my people." I watched in wonder as the threads pulsed with light, reaching down, down, down to the surface of the earth. But then I noticed something that made my stomach turn. Some of the threads were fading, dimming, and as I watched, some of them simply disappeared, vanished as if they'd never existed. "What's happening?" I whispered. "Why are they disappearing?" Jesus turned to me, and the pain in his eyes was unbearable. "Time, Jonathan. Time is happening. Every thread represents a window of opportunity, a moment of grace, a season of reaching. And when that season passes, when that door closes, the thread disconnects." He gestured, and suddenly I could see more clearly. I could see specific threads, specific people. I saw a woman in Michigan sitting on her couch at 1 a.m., scrolling through her phone. A thread of golden light was pulsing above her head, trying to get her attention. She scrolled past a video. I couldn't see which one, but I knew it was something that could change her life. The thread pulsed brighter, more urgently, but she kept scrolling. And then, as I watched in horror, the thread flickered once, twice, and went dark. "No," I heard myself shout. "Give her another chance. Send her another video. Send her another sign." Jesus' voice was heavy with sorrow. "Jonathan, you're thinking in human terms. You're thinking I only try once. That woman has had 247 threads extended to her in the last year alone. 247 attempts, 247 moments of divine reaching. This wasn't her first chance, it was her last." The weight of those words hit me like a physical blow. "But December," Jesus continued, "December is different. December is my mercy month. It's the month I chose to enter your world. It's the month that represents final chances, last opportunities, threshold moments. When people see a message before December ends, they're seeing it in the kairos moment, the appointed time, the fullness of time, the pregnant with possibility time." He waved his hand, and I saw something else. I saw calendars, thousands of calendars, millions of them, all flipping to December 2025. And over each calendar, I saw words appearing in fire, "Before the door closes." "This December," Jesus said, "is unlike any December before it. Something is shifting, something is changing. The threads I'm extending right now in these final weeks of 2025 are the last threads for many people, not because I'm giving up on them, but because they're running out of time, because the seasons are changing, because the door that has stood open is beginning to swing shut." I felt tears streaming down my own face now. "What door? What are you talking about?" Jesus looked at me with such intensity I thought I might shatter. "The door of easy access, the door of casual grace, the door where people can ignore me today and assume I'll be there tomorrow. That door is closing, Jonathan, not because my love is ending, my love never ends, but because history is moving, because we're approaching a threshold, because the season of comfortable Christianity is ending, and the season of costly discipleship is beginning." He showed me more. I saw churches, beautiful buildings, full of people, full of worship music and coffee bars and programs. But over many of them, I saw a strange mist, like a fog, and Jesus said, "Do you see? They're asleep. They think they have all the time in the world. They think December is just another month. They think next year will be just like this year. But they're wrong." I watched as the golden threads reached down toward these churches, trying to penetrate the fog, trying to wake people up. Some threads got through. I saw individuals within those churches suddenly lift their heads, suddenly feel something, suddenly hunger for more. And their threads grew brighter, stronger. But so many threads just bounced off the fog, dissolved in it, disappeared. "This is why you're seeing this before December ends," Jesus said. turning to me with such urgency I could barely breathe. This is why heaven is trying to reach you. Yes, you watching this right now, because December 2025 is a marked month. It's a threshold month. What you do with the threads I'm extending to you right now, in this month, will determine what options are available to you in the season ahead. He moved closer to me, so close I could have touched him, and he said, I need you to deliver a message, Jonathan. I need you to tell them that if they see this before December ends, it's not an accident. It's not the algorithm. It's not random chance. It's me. I'm reaching for them. I'm extending a golden thread of grace, of opportunity, of divine appointment, and they need to grab it. They need to respond. They need to understand that the clock is not just ticking, it's accelerating. Suddenly, I was back in my bedroom. The vision ended as abruptly as it had begun. Jesus was still there, standing at the foot of my bed, but the cosmic view was gone. Just him, just me, just the profound weight of what I'd been shown. You'll sleep now, he said gently. Tomorrow night, I'll show you more. I'll show you what happens when people miss their December thread. I'll show you what's coming. But tonight, I needed you to understand the why. I needed you to understand that heaven is literally trying to reach people right now in this exact moment before this month ends. He began to fade, the light dimming. Wait, I called out. What do I tell them to do? What's the response? How do they grab the thread? His voice came back to me, echoing as if from a great distance. Tell them to stop scrolling. Tell them to stop running. Tell them to stop pretending they have more time. Tell them to turn off the distractions. Get on their knees and say, Jesus, I see you trying to reach me. I'm here. I'm listening. What do you want to say to me before December ends? That's how they grab the thread, Jonathan. Attention, surrender, response, now. And then he was gone. I sat in my bed, shaking, weeping, overwhelmed. I grabbed my phone, 2:47 a.m. The whole encounter had felt like hours, but according to the clock, maybe 15 minutes had passed. But I knew it was real. I knew it was urgent. I knew I had to get this message out. Listen to me. If you're watching this, you're one of the threads. You're one of the people heaven is trying to reach before December ends. This isn't entertainment. This isn't a nice spiritual story to make you feel good. This is a divine appointment. Jesus was weeping because he sees how many threads are being ignored, how many chances are being missed, how many people think they have more time when their time is actually running out. I don't say this to scare you. I say this to wake you up. What is God trying to tell you right now? What have you been ignoring? What prompting have you been putting off? What change have you been resisting? What call have you been declining? December isn't over yet. The thread is still glowing above your head right now, but it won't glow forever. Tomorrow night, I'm going to share what Jesus showed me on the second night, December 10th. And I'm warning you now, it's more intense. It's more confronting. He showed me what happens when the threads disappear. He showed me what's coming for those who miss their December moment. But for tonight, I just need you to do one thing. Respond. Don't scroll past this. Don't ignore this. Don't put this off until tomorrow. Type in the comments right now, Jesus, I see you reaching for me. That's it. That simple declaration. Because when you acknowledge that heaven is trying to reach you, the thread grows stronger. The connection becomes clearer. The door stays open. I'm going to end this video now, but I'm not going to sleep tonight. I can't. Not after what I saw, not after what he showed me. I'm going to pray for every single person who watches this video. I'm going to pray that your thread stays bright and strong. I'm going to pray that you have the courage to grab it before December ends. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, don't ignore the feeling you have right now, that stirring in your spirit, that uncomfortable awareness, that sense of urgency. That's your thread, pulsing with divine light. Grab it before December ends. I didn't sleep after Jesus left my room that first night. How could I? I sat in my bed until dawn broke, replaying every moment, every word, every image he'd shown me. My wife found me at 6 a.m., still sitting there, tears dried on my face, my Bible open to the book of Revelation, though I didn't remember opening it. Jonathan, are you okay? She asked, concern flooding her voice. I couldn't answer right away. How do you explain to someone that you've just witnessed the grief of God, that you've seen the cosmic reality of divine threads connecting heaven to earth, that you've been given a message that feels too heavy to carry but too important to put down? Something happened. I finally managed to say, something real, and it's going to happen again tonight. I went through December 9th in a daze. Every person I encountered, I found myself looking above their head, wondering if there was a golden thread there, wondering if heaven was trying to reach them, wondering if they were ignoring it. The world looked different now. People looked different. Time felt different, more precious, more urgent, more finite than it ever had before. I'm not going to lie to you. I was terrified of going to sleep that night. Part of me wanted the second encounter, needed it, craved the completion of what Jesus had started to show me. But another part of me was afraid, because if the first night had wrecked me this completely, what would the second night do? I went to bed at 11 p.m. on December 10th. I prayed for 2 hours straight before even attempting to sleep. I begged God for clarity, for strength, for the ability to receive whatever He wanted to show me. And I prayed for you, yes, you watching this right now. I prayed for everyone who would eventually see this message. I prayed that the threads would hold strong. I finally drifted off somewhere around 1:30 a.m., and at 3:33 a.m., again, I checked the time afterward. I was pulled from sleep not by my own waking, but by a presence so powerful it literally drew me out of unconsciousness, like a magnet pulling metal. Jesus was there again, but this time, He wasn't at the foot of my bed. He was sitting on the edge of it, close enough that I could have reached out and touched Him. And His face was different. The tears were still there, but there was something else now. Anger. No, not anger. Righteous fury. Holy indignation. The kind of intensity that makes you understand why the Bible says it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. "Jonathan," He said, and His voice had an edge to it that made my entire body tense, "are you ready to see what happens when they don't grab the thread?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to tell Him I wasn't ready, that I needed more time, that I couldn't handle seeing more. But instead I heard myself whisper, "Yes, Lord, show me." The room dissolved again, but this time the transition was violent, jarring. It felt like being pulled through water, through space, through dimensions I don't have words to describe. And then I was standing, no, hovering, above the earth again. But it looked different than it had the night before. The golden threads were still there, millions of them, reaching down from heaven to earth. But now I could see something else. Dark threads, gray, lifeless threads hanging limp from heaven, no longer pulsing with light, no longer connected to anything. They just dangled there, like severed nerve endings, like dead phone lines, like bridges that had collapsed on one end. "These," Jesus said, His voice heavy with grief and anger intertwined, "are the missed connections, the ignored threads, the scrolled past moments, the dismissed promptings. Each one represents a person who had a December thread, a final, urgent attempt from heaven to reach them before a door closed, and they didn't respond." He gestured, and suddenly I was zooming in on one of the dead threads. It led down to a man, maybe in his mid-40s, sitting in a home office. I could see him clearly, though I couldn't tell you if this was happening in real time or if I was seeing a vision of the future or the past. Time felt fluid, irrelevant in this space. The man was scrolling through his phone, his face illuminated by the blue light of the screen. I watched as a video appeared. I couldn't see what it was, but I knew. Somehow I just knew it was a message from God. It was His December thread. The golden light above his head pulsed urgently, trying to get his attention, trying to make him stop, trying to make him watch. He paused for a moment. His thumb hovered over the video. The thread pulsed brighter, brighter, so bright I thought surely he must feel it, must sense it. But then he scrolled past it, and I watched in horror as the golden thread above his head flickered once, twice, and then turned gray. Dead. Disconnected. "No," I shouted, just like I had the night before. "Give him another chance. Show him another video. Send someone to talk to him." Jesus turned to me, and the look in His eyes made me take a step back. "Jonathan, you keep saying that. You keep asking for more chances. Do you want to know how many chances He's had?" Before I could answer, numbers began appearing in the air around the man like a holographic display. Dates, times, moments. "January 15th, 2023, Jesus said, His voice like steel. His daughter asked Him why they didn't pray as a family anymore. That was a thread. He said, 'We will soon,' and never did." Another date appeared. March 3rd, 2023, he drove past a car accident and felt the strong urge to pull over and pray for the people involved. That was a thread. He kept driving. More dates, more moments, more missed threads. June 7th, 2024, a coworker invited him to a men's Bible study. Thread. He said he was too busy. September 22nd, 2024. He woke up at 3 a.m. with an overwhelming sense that he needed to get his life right with God. Thread. He went back to sleep. November 30th, 2025. His wife told him she was worried about the state of his soul. Thread. He told her she was being dramatic. The dates kept coming, kept accumulating, a mountain of evidence, a testimony of grace repeatedly extended and repeatedly rejected. December 8th, 2025. Jesus continued, and now his voice broke slightly. I sent him a video, one last video, one December thread, the final attempt before a door closes in his life, and he scrolled past it. The holographic dates vanished, and I was left staring at this man with his dead thread hanging above his head, completely unaware of what he'd just lost. What door closed? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. What did he lose? Jesus looked at me with such sorrow that I felt it in my bones. His easy access to me, his season of gentle wooing, his time of comfortable conviction. Jonathan, I don't stop loving him. I don't stop wanting him. But there are seasons in a person's spiritual life, and they don't last forever. He just crossed out of one season and into another, a harder season, a darker season, a season where finding me will require much more than just watching a video. I felt like I was going to be sick. How many people have dead threads? Jesus raised his hand, and suddenly the view zoomed out. I could see Earth again. I could see all the threads, golden and gray, alive and dead. And there were so many gray ones, so many dead connections, so many missed December moments. More than you can count, Jesus said quietly, and December 2025 is critical because it's the last December of a certain kind. After this December, after this year closes, the spiritual atmosphere shifts. What was easy becomes hard. What was accessible becomes hidden. What was obvious becomes obscure. It's not punishment, Jonathan, it's progression. It's the natural movement of time and seasons and divine orchestration. He moved closer to me, and now his face was inches from mine, his eyes boring into my soul. This is why I'm weeping. This is why heaven is desperately trying to reach people before December ends. Because we're not just talking about missing a nice spiritual feeling. We're talking about missing a season, missing a door, missing an opportunity that won't come around again. Suddenly the scene shifted again. Now I was seeing something different. I was seeing people in churches, in homes, in coffee shops all across the world. And above each of them I could see their threads. Some were golden and pulsing, but many, so many, were dim, flickering, barely alive. These, Jesus said, are the ones who are on the edge. These are my people, believers, churchgoers, people who call themselves Christians. But they've been ignoring my threads for so long that the connection is almost dead. They're running on spiritual fumes. They think they're fine because they went to church last Sunday. They think they're safe because they prayed before dinner. But Jonathan, their threads are dying. And if they don't respond before December ends, if they don't grab onto what I'm offering them right now, their threads will go gray too. I watched as he showed me a woman in a church, singing worship songs, hands raised, tears streaming down her face, but her thread above her head was dim, barely glowing. She feels emotional during worship, Jesus explained, but she scrolls through Instagram during the sermon. She cries during the music, but she gossips in the parking lot. She raises her hands on Sunday, but she ignores my voice Monday through Saturday. Her thread is dying, and she doesn't even know it. He showed me a man leading a small group Bible study, teaching others, sharing insights, but his thread was flickering erratically. He knows my word intellectually, Jesus said, but he doesn't know me intimately. He can quote scripture, but he can't hear my whisper. He can teach others, but he won't obey me himself. His thread is barely hanging on. One after another, he showed me people, Christians, believers, good people, whose threads were in danger, and the common denominator was always the same. They were busy, distracted, comfortable, complacent. They had relegated their faith to a segment of their lives rather than making it the foundation of everything. This is the great deception of this age, Jesus said, his voice rising with intensity. The enemy doesn't need to make people reject me outright. He just needs to make them busy. He just needs to fill their lives with enough noise, enough activity, enough good things even, that they don't have time to respond when I reach for them. And slowly, gradually, their threads die. Not because I stopped reaching, but because they stopped responding. The scene shifted one more time, and now I was seeing into the future. I don't know how I knew it was the future, but I did. I was seeing January 2026, February 2026, March 2026, and I was seeing the people with dead threads, the people who had missed their December moment. Some of them were in crisis now, desperately trying to find God, but struggling in ways they hadn't struggled before. The man from earlier, the one who scrolled past the video, was on his knees in his bedroom, crying out to God, but his prayers felt like they were hitting a ceiling, bouncing back at him. Not because God wasn't there, but because the easy access was gone. He would find God eventually, I somehow knew this, but it would take months of perseverance, months of pushing through spiritual darkness, months of fighting for what used to come easily. Others had simply drifted further away. The woman from the church was no longer attending at all. Her emotions had dried up, her passion had faded, and she couldn't figure out why. She thought maybe God had left her. But the truth was she had disconnected from him, thread by thread, ignored prompting by ignored prompting. "Jonathan," Jesus said, pulling my attention back to him, "I need you to understand something crucial. I'm not showing you this to condemn people. I'm showing you this to warn them. The threads are still alive right now in December 2025. There's still time. The doors are still open. But time is running out. December is almost half over already." He gripped my shoulders, and I could feel the physical sensation of his hands, solid and real and burning with holy fire. "Tell them," he commanded. "Tell them that if they see this before December ends, they need to stop everything. They need to turn off their phones, turn off their TVs, turn off the noise, and they need to get alone with me. They need to ask me, what thread have I been ignoring? What are you trying to tell me? What door is closing that I need to walk through before it's too late?" His grip tightened. "Tell them that I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for attention. I'm asking for them to stop scrolling, stop running, stop pretending they have more time. Tell them that December 2025 is their marked month, their kairos moment, their divine appointment. And if they miss it, they'll spend the next year, maybe the next several years, trying to recover what they could have simply received if they'd just responded now." Tears were streaming down my face. "Lord, what about me? What thread am I ignoring? What are you trying to tell me?" His expression softened slightly, and he pulled me into an embrace. I felt like a child in my father's arms, and I wept. I wept for the man who scrolled past his last thread. I wept for the woman whose passion had died. I wept for all the gray threads hanging lifeless from heaven. I wept for my own complacency, my own distractions, my own seasons of ignoring his voice. "You're delivering this message," he whispered into my ear. "That's your December thread. That's what I'm asking of you. And tomorrow night, I'm going to show you the final piece. I'm going to show you what happens when people do grab the thread. I'm going to show you the glory that awaits those who respond. But I'm also going to show you the judgment that's coming for those who persistently refuse." He pulled back, looked into my eyes one more time, and said, "The threads are grace, Jonathan. But grace has seasons. Grace has timing. Grace has windows of opportunity. Tell them not to miss their window. Miss." And then he was gone. I was back in my bed, gasping, shaking, completely undone, 3:33 a.m. Only minutes had passed in earthly time, but I felt like I'd lived a lifetime in that vision. I'm recording this video on December 11th, and I'm telling you with every fiber of my being, if you're watching this before December ends, you have a thread, you have a golden thread of grace pulsing above your head right now. Heaven is trying to reach you. Maybe you're like the man who's been scrolling past video after video, prompting after prompting, conviction after conviction. Maybe you're like the woman in the church who's going through the motions but hasn't truly engaged with Jesus in months or years. Maybe you're like the Bible study leader who knows about God but doesn't really know God. Or maybe you're completely unchurched, and this video found you through a path you can't even explain, and you're feeling something right now. A stirring, a hunger, a desperation, and you don't even have language for it yet. That's your thread. Don't scroll past it. Don't ignore it. Don't put it off until tomorrow. I want you to do something radical right now. I want you to stop this video after you finish watching it, and I want you to find a quiet place, a bedroom, a closet, a car, anywhere you can be alone. And I want you to set a timer for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes. And I want you to get on your knees, and I want you to say, "Jesus, I see the thread. I feel you reaching for me. I'm here. I'm listening. What do you want to say to me before December ends?" And then I want you to wait. Wait in the silence. Wait in the awkwardness. Wait through the distractions that will immediately flood your mind. Just wait and listen. Because here's what Jesus showed me. When someone actually stops and responds to their thread, when they grab onto it with intention and surrender, that thread becomes a lifeline. It becomes a direct connection to heaven. It becomes a pathway for revelation, for healing, for transformation, for destiny. But you have to grab it. You have to respond. You have to stop scrolling. Type in the comments right now, "I'm grabbing my thread." Make that declaration. Say it out loud. Let heaven hear you say, "I'm not missing this. I'm not ignoring this. I'm responding before December ends." Tomorrow, I'm going to share the third night, December 11th, and it's the most intense encounter yet. Jesus showed me the consequences of ignoring these warnings, but he also showed me the glory that's coming for those who respond. He showed me what's on the other side of obedience. He showed me why this December is worth everything. But tonight, just focus on your thread, focus on grabbing it, focus on not being one of the gray, dead connections I saw hanging lifeless from heaven. Your thread is alive right now. Keep it that way. I'll see you tomorrow with part 3. Don't miss it. And whatever you do, don't ignore what you're feeling right now. That's Jesus. That's heaven. That's your December thread. Grab it. I want to be completely honest with you about what happened between the second vision and the third one. I almost didn't go to sleep on December 11th. I was terrified. Not because I didn't want to encounter Jesus. I did, desperately. But because I knew that whatever he was going to show me on the third night was going to break me completely. The first night, he showed me the threads, the reality of heaven reaching for humanity. The second night, he showed me the dead connections, what happens when people ignore their threads. But I could feel it in my spirit. The third night was going to be about judgment, about finality, about the point of no return. I spent December 11th fasting. I didn't plan to. It just happened. I couldn't eat. Every time I tried, I felt sick. My body was rejecting food because my spirit was so weighted down with what I'd already seen and what I knew was coming. My wife was genuinely worried about me. My friends were calling, asking if I was okay, because I wasn't okay. How could I be okay after seeing what I'd seen? But I also felt more alive than I'd ever felt, more awake, more aware of the reality that most people are sleepwalking through. I looked at people differently now. I looked at time differently. I looked at everything through the lens of threads and doors and divine timing. I went to bed at midnight on December 11th, or technically early December 12th. I didn't pray for hours this time. I just lay in the darkness and said, "I'm ready, Lord. Show me what you need me to see." At 4:44 a.m., yes, I checked, and yes, I noticed the significance of the repeating number. I was ripped from sleep. That's the only way I can describe it. Not gently awakened, not peacefully stirred, ripped. It felt like being pulled through a vortex, like every cell in my body was being yanked into another dimension, and I wasn't in my bedroom anymore. I was standing in a place I can only describe as a courtroom, but not like any courtroom on earth. It was vast, impossibly vast, with dimensions that hurt to look at, like my human eyes couldn't quite process the geometry of the space. The walls seemed to be made of living light, pulsing with colors that don't exist in our spectrum, and the ceiling stretched up and up and up into infinity, into the throne room of God himself. Jesus stood beside me, but he looked different now. He wasn't weeping anymore. His face was set like flint. That phrase from Isaiah suddenly made perfect sense. His eyes blazed with holy fire. He was wearing white robes that seemed to be woven from light itself, and on his head was a crown that I couldn't look at directly without my eyes watering. This was Jesus the Judge, Jesus the King, Jesus the Righteous One, who will one day separate the sheep from the goats. "Jonathan," he said, and his voice echoed through the infinite space, "what you're about to see is already happening in the spiritual realm, and it will manifest in the physical realm in the season ahead. I'm showing you this so that you can warn them, warn my people, warn the lost, warn everyone who has ears to hear, that the time of easy grace is ending. The time of accountability is beginning." Before I could respond, the space filled with people, thousands of them, millions of them. They appeared out of nowhere, standing in rows that stretched as far as I could see, and above each person's head I could see their thread, golden, gray, or completely absent. "These are the people of December 2025, Jesus said. These are the ones who received a thread this month, a final reaching, an urgent prompting, a divine appointment before a door closes." He gestured, and suddenly the people began to separate. It was like watching a river split into two streams. Those with golden threads, threads they had grabbed, responded to, honored, began moving to the right. Those with gray or absent threads began moving to the left. I watched in stunned silence as the separation continued, and what horrified me was the ratio. For every person moving to the right, there were 3, 4, 5 moving to the left. The majority, the vast majority, had dead threads or no threads at all. Jesus' face was stern, unyielding, as he watched the separation. Do you see, Jonathan? Do you see why I've been weeping? Do you see why heaven is desperately trying to reach people before December ends? Because most of them are going to miss it. Most of them are going to scroll past their thread. Most of them are going to ignore the prompting, dismiss the conviction, postpone the response. He pointed to the group on the left, and suddenly I could hear them, their thoughts, their excuses, their justifications. I was too busy. I didn't think it was that urgent. I thought I had more time. I was going to respond tomorrow. I didn't realize. Nobody told me. The excuses rose like a cacophony of noise filling the courtroom, and Jesus raised his hand. Silence fell instantly. I told you, his voice boomed, and the very walls shook with the force of it. I sent you thread after thread after thread. I sent you videos, sermons, whispers, promptings, Bible verses, divine appointments, crises that were meant to wake you up, blessings that were meant to draw you close. I sent you everything, and you scrolled past me, you ignored me, you postponed me, you treated me like an option instead of a necessity. He turned to me, and I saw something in his eyes that I'd never seen before. Not just sorrow, not just love, but righteous anger, holy indignation at the way humanity treats the grace of God. Tell them, he commanded, tell them that grace is not a license for complacency. Tell them that come as you are doesn't mean stay as you are. Tell them that my patience, though long, is not infinite. Tell them that there comes a point, a moment, a season, a divine deadline when the door closes, when the thread goes dead, when the opportunity passes. Suddenly, I was pulled into a vision within the vision. I saw a specific scene playing out before me. A young man, maybe 25 years old, lying in a hospital bed. He'd been in a car accident. I could see the whole thing play out like a movie. He'd been texting while driving, swerved off the road, crashed into a tree. He was dying. The doctors were working frantically, but I could see his life force fading, see his spirit beginning to separate from his body. And in that hospital room, Jesus was there, standing beside the bed, invisible to everyone else, with his hand extended to the young man's spirit. This is your moment, Jesus said to him. This is your thread. Call on me. Reach for me. Surrender to me. The young man's spirit was panicking, thrashing, terrified, and I watched as he looked at Jesus. He could see him now, in this liminal space between life and death, and for a moment, just a moment, I thought he was going to reach out. I thought he was going to grab the thread. But then I heard his thoughts. Not yet. I'm too young. This can't be it. I'll survive this, and then I'll get my life together. Then I'll deal with God. And he turned away from Jesus' extended hand. The doctor shocked his heart. Once, twice, 3 times. And his spirit slammed back into his body. He survived. But when he woke up, when he recovered, I saw him 6 months later, scrolling through his phone, living the same life, ignoring the same promptings. Harder now, more cynical, more closed off, because he'd been given a December thread, a moment of divine reaching in a crisis, and he'd turned away from it, and the thread above his head was now gray, dead, disconnected. He had his chance, Jesus said quietly. In that hospital room, the veil was thin, heaven was close, I was reachable, but he chose to believe he had more time, and now, even though he's alive, he's spiritually dead. It will take a miracle, and much more suffering to reach him now. The vision shifted. Now I saw a woman in her 60s, sitting in a church she'd attended for 40 years. She'd been a Christian her whole life. At least that's what she called herself. She went to church on Sundays. She served on committees. She baked for potlucks. But she'd never truly surrendered. She'd never truly died to herself. She treated Jesus like a good luck charm, like fire insurance, like a religious obligation rather than a living relationship. And in December 2025, Jesus had sent her a thread, a powerful one. A sermon that had cut straight to her heart, exposing the reality that she'd been playing church for decades without actually knowing him. The thread pulsed above her head, urgent, bright, desperate. She felt it. I could see her squirming in the pew, feeling uncomfortable, feeling exposed, feeling the Holy Spirit convicting her of her lukewarm faith. But then the sermon ended. She stood up, shook hands with people, complimented the pastor on his interesting message, and went home. And by the time she pulled into her driveway, she'd talked herself out of the conviction. I'm fine, she told herself. I've been a Christian for 40 years. That sermon wasn't for me. It was for those other people, those backsliders. And her thread flickered and went gray. Jesus turned to me with such intensity I thought I might disintegrate. Do you know what the tragedy is, Jonathan? The tragedy is that she'll stand before me one day, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 10 days, and she'll say, Lord, Lord, didn't I go to church? Didn't I serve on committees? Didn't I call myself a Christian? And I'll have to say to her, I never knew you. You knew about me, but you never knew me. You had a religion, but you didn't have a relationship. And I reached for you. I sent you threads. I gave you opportunities to move from religion to reality, but you were too comfortable in your routine to respond. The words from Matthew 7 that I'd read 1,000 times suddenly took on horrifying new meaning. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, and then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me. I was shaking now, trembling from head to toe. Lord, how do people know? How do they know if their threat is real? How do they know if they're truly connected to you or just going through religious motions? Jesus looked at me with such fierce love it nearly broke me. They know by their response, Jonathan. When I send a thread, a conviction, a prompting, a whisper, the truly connected ones respond. They don't make excuses. They don't postpone. They don't rationalize it away. They stop what they're doing. They fall on their knees. They cry out to me. They make changes. They surrender deeper. They pursue me harder. That's how you know the thread is alive, by the fruit of response. He gestured to the group on the right, the ones with golden, pulsing threads, and suddenly I could see their stories. A businessman who'd been climbing the corporate ladder, sacrificing his family and his faith for success, who saw a video in early December that wrecked him. He watched it at 2 a.m., and instead of scrolling past, he woke up his wife and said, I've been living for the wrong things. I need to change. Now. And he did. He grabbed his thread. A teenage girl drowning in depression and anxiety, who'd been contemplating suicide, who saw a message before December ended that made her realize heaven was reaching for her. She fell on her face in her bedroom and cried out to Jesus for the first time in her life. She grabbed her thread. A pastor who'd been preaching for 30 years but had slowly lost his fire, going through the motions, maintaining a ministry while his personal relationship with Jesus had grown cold. He had a divine encounter in early December that stripped away all his pretense and brought him back to his first love. He grabbed his thread. These are the ones, Jesus said, his voice filled with emotion now. These are the ones who will carry the fire in the season ahead. These are the ones who will have oil in their lamps when the midnight cry comes. These are the ones who responded when heaven reached for them. He turned back to the group on the left, and his face became stern again. But these who ignored their threads, who scrolled past their divine appointments, who postponed their response until it was too late. They're going to enter a season of darkness, not because I've abandoned them, but because they've disconnected from me, and reconnecting will be harder, longer, more painful than if they'd just responded when I first reached for them. The courtroom began to fade, and I found myself standing with Jesus in a space that was neither here nor there, just him and me, face to face. Tomorrow night, he said, I'm going to give you the final piece. I'm going to tell you exactly what people need to do. I'm going to give you the practical steps, the 30-minute challenge, the specific response I'm asking for from everyone who sees this before December ends. But tonight, I needed you to see the stakes. I needed you to see that this isn't a game. This isn't entertainment. This isn't optional. He gripped my shoulders again, and his eyes burned into mine. The door is closing, Jonathan. Not in years, not in months, in days. December is almost half over. Christmas will come and go, and people will be so distracted by presents and parties and family gatherings that they'll miss the most important thing happening this month. Heaven reaching for them one final time before a season shifts. His voice dropped to an urgent whisper. Tell them that judgment is not just a future event. Judgment is happening now. Every ignored thread is a judgment. Every missed opportunity is a judgment. Every time someone scrolls past me, dismisses me, postpones me, they're judging themselves unworthy of the season of grace I'm offering them. He released me and stepped back. The thief on the cross grabbed his thread in his final moments and was saved. But do you know how many other criminals died that day who didn't grab their thread? Who died in their sins because they wouldn't reach for me even when I was right there beside them? Don't let people presume on grace, Jonathan. Don't let them think they'll always have another chance. Some will, but some won't. And the tragedy is they won't know which category they're in until it's too late. And then, like every other night, I was back in my bed. 4:44 a.m. My body was drenched in sweat. My face was wet with tears. My hands were shaking so violently I could barely function. I'm recording this on December 12th, and I'm telling you with the fear of God in my heart. If you're watching this before December ends, you need to understand that you're not watching a nice spiritual video. You're not stumbling onto some random content. You're in a courtroom. You're at a threshold. You're standing at a door that's beginning to close. Jesus is reaching for you right now. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. There's a golden thread above your head, pulsing with divine light, trying to get your attention. And what you do in the next moment, whether you respond or whether you scroll, will determine which group you're in when the separation happens. I don't care if you've been a Christian for 50 years or if you've never set foot in a church. I don't care if you're a pastor or if you're an atheist. The thread doesn't discriminate. Jesus is reaching for everyone who's not truly connected to him, everyone who's lukewarm, everyone who's playing religion, everyone who's lost, everyone who's disconnected. The question is, will you grab it? Type in the comments right now. I'm choosing to respond. Don't just watch this video and move on. Don't treat this like entertainment. Don't scroll past your thread. Tomorrow, I'm releasing part 4, the final part, and I'm going to give you the exact 30-minute daily challenge Jesus gave me. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, exactly how to respond, exactly how to grab your thread and keep it alive. But tonight, you just need to make the decision. You need to choose right now before you do anything else. Will you be in the group on the right or the group on the left? Will you grab your thread or let it go gray? Will you respond before December ends, or will you become another tragic story of missed opportunity? The clock is ticking. December is passing. The door is closing. Choose now. I need to tell you something before we go any further. After the third night, after that vision of the courtroom, after seeing the separation, after feeling the weight of divine judgment, I didn't think I could handle a fourth encounter. I thought I was done. I thought Jesus had shown me everything he needed to show me. But I was wrong. On December 12th, I spent the entire day in prayer. Not the kind of prayer where you're asking for things, the kind of prayer where you're just broken, where you're on your face before God, undone by what you've seen, wrecked by the reality of eternity, desperate for him to use you however he wants. My wife came into my prayer room around 4 p.m. and found me weeping into the carpet. "Jonathan," she said gently, "you need to eat something. You need to take care of yourself." But how do you eat when you've seen what I've seen? How do you go about normal life when you know that millions of people are about to miss their divine appointment? How do you sleep when souls are hanging in the balance? "I can't," I told her. "Not yet. He's going to come again tonight. I can feel it. And this time he's going to tell me what they need to do." She looked at me with concern and love mixed together. "Then I'll pray with you," she said. And she did. We prayed together until the sun went down, until the house grew dark, until it was time for me to face whatever was coming. I got into bed at 11:30 p.m. on December 12th. I didn't expect to sleep, and I didn't. I just lay there in the darkness, every nerve ending alive, every spiritual sense heightened, waiting. At 12 a.m. exactly, midnight, the threshold between December 12th and 13th, my room filled with light. Not like the previous nights. This was different. This was brighter, warmer, more intense. It was the kind of light that doesn't just illuminate darkness, it banishes it. It was the light of hope, of redemption, of possibility. And Jesus was there, standing in the center of the light, but his face was radiant with joy. After 3 nights of tears and sorrow and righteous anger, he was smiling. And that smile, I can't describe it. It was like every good thing you've ever felt compressed into a single expression. It was like coming home after a lifetime of wandering. It was like being loved by someone who knows everything about you and loves you anyway. "Jonathan," he said, and his voice was musical, full of laughter and delight. "Tonight I'm going to show you the other side. Tonight I'm going to show you what happens when people respond. Tonight I'm going to show you the glory that awaits those who grab their thread before December ends." Before I could speak, the room transformed. I was no longer in my bedroom. I was standing in a place that looked like Earth, but better, more real, more solid, more vivid. The colors were colors I'd never seen before. The air tasted like joy. The ground beneath my feet hummed with life. "This," Jesus said, gesturing around us, "is what I'm building. This is the kingdom that's coming. This is the reality that will one day replace the broken world you live in. And the people who respond to their threads, the ones who grab onto me before doors close, the ones who surrender when I call them. These are the ones who will inherit this kingdom. These are the ones who will rule and reign with me. He waved his hand, and suddenly I saw them. The people from the courtroom, the ones who had been on the right side, the ones with golden threads. But now I could see them in their fullness, in their destiny, in their future glory. The businessman who had woken his wife at 2 a.m. was now leading thousands of people into revival. I watched as he preached with fire and authority, as he laid hands on the sick and they recovered, as he spoke prophetically over nations and governments. The thread he had grabbed in December 2025 had become a lifeline to his destiny. The teenage girl who had been contemplating suicide was now radiating with such joy and purpose that people were drawn to her like moths to light. She was leading worship, writing songs that touched millions, speaking life over a generation that was drowning in despair. Her December thread had saved her life and launched her into her calling. The pastor who had returned to his first love was now shepherding a movement. His church had exploded with genuine revival, not hype, not emotionalism, but real encounters with the living God. People were being saved, healed, delivered, transformed. And it all traced back to a moment in December 2025 when he responded to his thread. "Do you see?" Jesus said, his voice thick with emotion. "Do you see what happens when people say yes? When they stop scrolling and start responding? When they grab the thread I extend to them? They don't just get saved, they step into their destiny. They access the fullness of what I created them for. They become the people they were always meant to be." He turned to me, and the joy on his face was almost too much to bear. "This is what I'm offering everyone who sees your message before December ends. Not just salvation, though that's part of it. Not just forgiveness, though that's included. But destiny, purpose, calling, fullness. The abundant life I promised. The life that's only accessible to those who respond when heaven reaches for them." The scene shifted, and now I was seeing something different. I was seeing the present, December 2025, but I was seeing it from heaven's perspective. I could see earth below, and I could see millions of golden threads reaching down, pulsing, waiting for people to grab them. And then I watched as someone, a woman in Texas, sitting on her couch at 1 a.m., stopped scrolling. She paused on a video. My video, this video, the one I'm recording right now. And above her head, her thread began to pulse brighter, brighter, brighter. She started watching, really watching, not casually, not with half attention, but with her full focus, her full heart, her full desperation. And as she watched, I saw her begin to weep. I saw conviction fall on her like a tangible weight. I saw the Holy Spirit moving in her living room, surrounding her, drawing her, calling her. And then, and this is when I started weeping too, I watched as she paused the video, got down on her knees right there in her living room, and grabbed her thread. "Jesus!" she cried out, her voice breaking. "I see you reaching for me. I feel you calling me. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm surrendering. I'm not scrolling past this. I'm responding right now." And the moment she said those words, her thread exploded with light. It went from golden to brilliant white, pulsing with such intensity that I had to look away. And I watched as that thread became a two-way connection, not just Jesus reaching down to her, but her reaching up to him, a living, active, powerful connection between heaven and earth. Jesus was beside me watching the same thing I was watching, and he was weeping too, but these were tears of joy. "This," he said, "this is what I'm waiting for. This is what all of heaven celebrates. One person, just one person, responding to their thread, grabbing onto me, choosing to say yes before December ends." He showed me more. I saw a man in Chicago, a teenager in Brazil, an elderly woman in South Korea, a young couple in Australia, all watching this message, all feeling the prompting, all making the choice to respond. And with each response, each grabbed thread, heaven erupted in celebration, angels were cheering, the cloud of witnesses was rejoicing, the Father was smiling. "Jonathan," Jesus said, pulling my attention back to him, "I'm going to give you the exact instructions now. I'm going to tell you what I want everyone who sees this message to do. Are you ready?" I nodded, pulling out my phone, desperate to capture every word. "Tell them this," he said, his voice becoming authoritative, kingly, commanding. "Tell them that if they see this message before December ends, they need to commit to a 30-minute daily challenge for the next 30 days, 30 minutes alone with me, every single day. No distractions, no phones except to read the Bible or play worship music, no agenda except to connect with me, just them and me, 30 minutes, every day for 30 days. He held up his hand, and I saw the instructions appearing in the air like fire. The December Thread Challenge. Daily requirement, 30 minutes alone, with Jesus, when first thing in the morning, or last thing at night, whenever you're least likely to be interrupted. Where? Somewhere private, bedroom, closet, car, anywhere you can be alone. What to do? Minutes 1 to 5. Silence. Just sit in my presence. Don't talk. Don't pray yet. Don't do anything. Just be with me. Let me look at you. Let yourself feel me near you. Minutes 6 to 10. Confession. Tell me everything. Your sins, your fears, your doubts, your struggles, your secrets. Don't hold back. Don't edit. Don't perform. Just pour out your heart. Tell me about the thread you've been ignoring. Tell me about the ways you've been scrolling past me. Tell me about the doors you've let close. Full honesty, total transparency. This is where the thread is cleansed in the light of confession. Minutes 11 to 20. Listening. Open my word, the Bible, and read until something jumps out at you. It might be one verse, it might be one phrase, it might be one word. When you feel it, when you feel that quickening in your spirit, stop. That's me speaking to you. That's your thread carrying a specific message from heaven to your situation. Write it down, meditate on it, ask me what I'm saying through it. This is where the thread transmits, in my word, in my voice, in my specific guidance for your life. Minutes 21 to 25. Worship. Thank me, praise me, worship me, out loud. Don't just think it, speak it. Sing if you want to, shout if you need to, but fill these minutes with gratitude and adoration. Thank me for your thread. Thank me for reaching for you. Thank me for not giving up on you even when you've scrolled past me 1,000 times. This is where the thread celebrates, in the atmosphere of worship, in the sound of thanksgiving. Minutes 26 to 30. Declaration. Declare your commitment. Say out loud, Jesus, I'm grabbing my thread. I'm not letting go. I'm responding before December ends. I'm choosing you over scrolling, you over distraction, you over comfort, you over everything. Whatever you're asking me to change, I'll change it. Wherever you're asking me to go, I'll go. Whatever thread I've been ignoring, I'm grabbing it right now. This is where the thread is secured, in the act of declaration, in the power of your words, in the commitment of your will. Jesus lowered his hand, and the fiery instructions faded. Tell them, he said, that if they do this, if they actually do this for 30 days, starting today, starting now, their lives will never be the same. The thread will become unbreakable, the connection will become permanent, and they'll step into January 2026 with clarity, purpose, power, and anointing that most believers never experience. He moved closer to me, so close I could feel the heat radiating from his presence. But Jonathan, you must also warn them. Tell them that there's a deadline. If they see this message before December 25th, they have until January 25th to complete the 30-day challenge, 30 days from whenever they start. But they must start before December ends. That's critical. The thread is strongest right now, in December. If they wait until January to start, the door will have already shifted. It's not that I won't reach them, I always reach, but the ease of connection, the power of this particular season will have passed. I was scribbling notes frantically, trying to capture everything. Lord, what about people who've already missed so many threads? What about people whose threads are almost dead? Is it too late for them? His face became incredibly tender. Tell them, he said softly, that if they can still hear this message, if they can still feel the prompting, then their thread isn't completely dead. It's dim, maybe. It's weak, maybe. But it's not dead. And the 30-minute challenge will resurrect it. I specialize in resurrection, Jonathan. I bring dead things back to life. That's what I do. The light in the room began to soften, and I knew our time was coming to an end. But Jesus had one more thing to say. Tell them about the markers, he said. Tell them that I want them to leave markers for me. In the comments of your video, I want them to make public declarations. I want them to type, I'm starting my 30-day challenge today, with the date, because when they make a public declaration, when they let others witness their commitment, the thread becomes even stronger. Accountability reinforces commitment. Community reinforces conviction. He placed his hand on my head, and I felt power surge through my body like electricity. This is my blessing on you, Jonathan. This is my anointing for this message. You're not just sharing a story, you're extending threads. Every person who watches this video, who hears these words, who feels this prompting, they're feeling me. They're encountering me. And you're the vessel I'm using to reach them before December ends. Tears were streaming down my face. Lord, what if they don't respond? What if they watch this whole video, feel the conviction, and still scroll past it? The joy faded from his face, replaced by that familiar sorrow. Then they'll join the group on the left. Then their thread will go gray. Then they'll enter a harder season. But Jonathan, that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to deliver the message. Their responsibility is to respond to it. You can't grab their threads for them. You can only show them that the threads exist. And then he said something that shook me to my core. Some people are watching this right now, and they're already feeling the prompting. They're already sensing their thread pulsing. But they're going to close this video before it ends. They're going to tell themselves they'll come back to it later. They're going to make plans to start the challenge soon, and they'll never do it. The thread will fade before they ever grab it, and Jonathan, the tragedy is they'll never know what they missed. They'll never know the destiny that was waiting for them on the other side of that 30-minute commitment. His eyes locked onto mine one final time. So I'm going to speak directly through you to them. Right now, tell them I'm speaking. And then I felt it, a shift in my spirit, a heaviness, an authority that wasn't mine. And these words came out of my mouth, but they weren't my words. You, yes, you, watching this right now. I see you. I know you. I know you're feeling something. I know you're sensing your thread. I know you're thinking about scrolling past this, about coming back to it later, about putting off your response. And I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Don't scroll. Don't wait. Don't put this off. This is your moment. This is your December thread. This is your divine appointment. And if you miss it, you'll regret it, not for days, not for weeks, for years, maybe for eternity. The authority lifted, and I was just me again, Jonathan, shaking and weeping and overwhelmed. Jesus smiled one more time. They needed to hear that from me, not just from you. Now finish the message. Tell them everything, and trust me with the results. And he was gone. I'm sitting here on December 13th, recording this final part, and I need you to understand something. I've given you everything Jesus gave me. I've held nothing back. I've shown you the threads, the dead connections, the courtroom separation, and now the path to destiny. Everything you need to know is in these 4 parts. Now it's your turn. If you're watching this before December ends, and if you've made it this far through all 4 parts, then you definitely have a thread. You have a choice to make right now, not tomorrow, not after Christmas, not when things calm down. Right now. Are you going to grab your thread, or are you going to scroll past it? Here's what I need you to do immediately. Step 1, type in the comments, I'm starting my 30-day challenge today. Insert today's date. Make that public declaration. Let heaven see it. Let other believers witness it. Let the enemy know you're serious. Step 2, set an alarm on your phone for 30 minutes earlier than you usually wake up, or 30 minutes before you usually go to bed. Label it December Thread Challenge. When that alarm goes off tomorrow, you honor it. No snooze, no excuses. You get up, or you stop what you're doing, and you spend 30 minutes with Jesus using the structure he gave me. Step 3, find one person, a friend, a family member, someone from your church, and tell them what you're doing. Say, I'm doing a 30-day challenge to connect with Jesus every day for 30 minutes. Will you check in with me once a week to make sure I'm staying consistent? Accountability makes all the difference. Step 4, come back to this video series, watch it again, share it with someone who needs to see it before December ends. Let this message go viral not because of an algorithm, but because of the Holy Spirit moving through surrendered hearts. Step 5, document your journey. Keep a journal of what happens during your 30 minutes each day. Write down the verses that jump out at you. Write down what you hear Jesus saying. Write down how you change over the 30 days, because you will change. Your thread will strengthen. Your connection will deepen. Your life will transform. Now let me speak to specific groups of people. To the skeptic who's watched all 4 parts and still isn't sure, I understand. This is intense. This is confronting. This is challenging everything you thought you knew about God and faith and spiritual reality. But answer me this. What if it's true? What if Jesus really is reaching for you right now? What if this really is your December thread? Can you afford to risk ignoring it? What do you have to lose by trying the 30-day challenge? 30 minutes a day for 30 days. If nothing happens, You've lost a few hours. But if everything happens, you've gained eternity. Take the risk. To the lukewarm Christian who's been playing church for years, Jesus sees you, he knows you, and he's giving you one more chance to move from religion to relationship. The thread you're feeling right now is his mercy, his grace, his desperate desire to truly know you and be truly known by you. Stop performing, stop pretending, stop going through the motions. Get real with him in those 30 minutes. Let him strip away the religious facade and meet the real you. That's where transformation begins. To the burned out believer who's exhausted from trying and failing, you're not too far gone. Your thread isn't dead, it's just dim. And the 30-day challenge will reignite it. Jesus isn't angry with you for your failures. He's reaching for you with your failures, in your failures, despite your failures. Come to him broken. Come to him exhausted. Come to him with nothing to offer but your honest desperation. That's all he's ever wanted. To the person in crisis right now, the one contemplating giving up, this message found you for a reason. Heaven is trying to reach you before you make a decision you can't undo. Your thread is glowing brighter than you realize because you're at a threshold moment. Don't make a permanent decision based on temporary pain. Start the 30-day challenge today, right now. Before you do anything else, let Jesus meet you in your darkest moment. He specializes in that. To the successful person who thinks they have it all together, your thread is pulsing too, because success without surrender is still failure in God's eyes. You might have everything the world offers, but if you don't have intimacy with Jesus, you have nothing that matters. The 30-day challenge will cost you. It will cost you time, comfort, control, but it will give you something money can't buy. Purpose, meaning, connection to your Creator. I'm looking at the calendar right now. Depending on when you're seeing this, there are somewhere between 12 and 18 days left in December 2025. That's 12 to 18 days to start your 30-day challenge. That's 12 to 18 days before the door shifts. That's 12 to 18 days to grab your thread. Don't waste them. Don't spend them scrolling through social media, binging shows, shopping for things you don't need, distracting yourself with noise and entertainment. Spend them reaching back to the God who's been reaching for you. I'm going to be honest with you about what's going to happen in the comments of this video. Some people are going to make powerful declarations. They're going to commit to the challenge. They're going to grab their threads, and I'm going to pray for every single one of them. But some people are going to leave skeptical comments, critical comments, mocking comments, and that's okay, because those comments will actually serve as a marker, a testament to the fact that not everyone who sees this message is meant to receive it. Not everyone will grab their thread. Jesus said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." I used to think that meant God only chooses a few people, but I understand now. Many are called, many receive threads, but few choose to respond. Few choose to be chosen. Few choose to grab the thread when it's extended. Will you be one of the few? I'm going to end this video the same way Jesus ended his time with me. I'm going to speak directly to you under the authority and anointing he gave me. If you're still watching, if you've made it to this final moment, your thread is pulsing right now. You feel it. You know you feel it. That stirring in your spirit, that uncomfortable conviction, that sense of urgency, that awareness that something significant is happening right now. Don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it. Don't scroll past it. This is Jesus. This is heaven. This is your December thread. And what you do in the next 5 minutes will determine your next season. Grab the thread. Start the challenge. Make the declaration. Respond before December ends. Your destiny is waiting on the other side of your obedience. Type in the comments right now, "I'm grabbing my thread." Starting 30-day challenge. Date. Do it before you close this video. Do it before you get distracted. Do it before the moment passes. And then, tonight or tomorrow morning, begin your first 30-minute session. Use the structure Jesus gave. 5 minutes of silence. 5 minutes of confession. 10 minutes of listening to his word. 5 minutes of worship, 5 minutes of declaration, 30 minutes that will change everything. I'll be praying for you. I'll be checking the comments. I'll be believing that thousands of people, maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, will grab their threads before December ends. Will you be one of them? The choice is yours. The thread is extended. The door is still open, but December is running out. Grab your thread now before it's too late.